Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. No real Arsenal content. Well, there might be. We might be talking about the game against the Spurs, and I want to get James's opinion about when it comes to rival. Are Tottenham really our rivals? I mean, I've got my opinion about who our rivals are or should be, but yeah. But anyway, James, how are you, James?
Very well, thank you, Alex. Lovely to be speaking to you again, and always great to be on to discuss European football. In an ideal world, I'd be speaking to you, or we'd be having a meal the night before Arsenal Real Madrid, but it's not. Wasn't meant to be. Bayern Munich deserved their win over two legs against Arsenal, and now they take on Real Madrid, who they've knocked out of European competition 5 times in their history, and I expect them to do it a sixth time. So I think they'll go on to win their seventh Champions League, which for a club of that standing, of that ilk, is nothing short of incredible.
Yeah, yeah. So let's kind of read it back a little bit. James, about the game, the North London derby. Quick thoughts about that match there.
I was pleased that we won, holding on towards the end. I cannot understand all this playing out from the back rubbish. I believe that footballers are getting thicker, but I will also say what I said to you and Terry a while back. I believe that footballers now, they're scared to go against the grain through fear of losing their own place in the team, through fear of not doing what their manager tells them to do. But as I've said before, 92 professional clubs in England, you think of all the clubs worldwide, nobody has the obligation, nor the skill set, nor the ability to play the same way. I actually think that Guardiola is trying to con people with that, with everyone's got to play my way, but it's not his way, it's Johan Cruyff's way. And Johan Cruyff's way was influenced by Rinus Michels and Vic Buckingham. So all this Pep Guardiola, it's a little bit sickening. He's not the Messiah, he's just a very naughty boy. And as my mother would say, let him get on with it.
Well said, James. I was having a conversation, exchanging messages with a friend of mine who's a Man United supporter. He told me he doesn't rate Eric Ten Hag. He doesn't listen to or watch the matches when they play. And I said, but really, from my memory, it's not really Tottenham that should be our rivals. I remember the first trophy that Arsenal ever won was the 1979 FA Cup final against Man United. And of course, I remember 89 against Liverpool. And for me, James, not so much Tottenham. I look at Man United as our main rivals and Liverpool as our rivals, not so much Tottenham. So I don't know, am I been a bit too facetious or?
No, I don't think so. I think as I get older, I realise how personal football actually is.
Yeah.
It's not. Football is not meant for everybody to think the same way. Football is not meant for everybody to play the same way or to follow sheep. Football is a very, very personal journey. You know, do you really think that fans, with the greatest respect of Colchester United, Mansfield Town, and Bolton Wanderers, are worried about playing out from the back?
It's just ridiculous.
Exactly. Exactly. Do you really think that the fans of Flamengo, Real Betis, Auxerre, St Etienne, Sparta Rotterdam, Malaga, Racing Santander, these are all different football clubs worldwide, and first and foremost, the point of any football club is survival. That's the first port of call, is to survive. And I think the money involved in the game, it's just becoming too much, not just in comparison to the working man, but also in terms of value for money, you know, and the millions of pounds that spread around. And for example, Liverpool paying 11 million euros to get Arne Slot. Is this a new trend where clubs pay other clubs for managers? Never used to be that way, did it? You didn't have to pay compensation to get your manager. You just sounded him out. He resigned and he took over the job. But I just think now there's so much money at stake. And I quote from Terry, the Americanization of English football. It's like a train coming down the tracks and nobody's diving to one side to get out of the way. If anything, they think the people on the train are going to wave back to them. They're going to mow them down. They're going to kill them. It's just very, very, very worrying.
Just talking about survival, James. Everton secured their survival in the Premier League, and I think they had an 8-point deduction. And Sean Dyche, he's done a really good job at Everton, really good job. And going back up to the Premier League is Leicester City. And James, I know we always kind of joke about giving another club the opportunity to play in the Champions League. Why not give that opportunity to Leicester City, James, rather than Crystal Palace?
Well, when Leicester City played their only Champions League campaign, what stage did they reach?
Good question.
Quarterfinals. It took us 14 years to get to a quarterfinal. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And they knocked out Sevilla. They were unlucky against Atletico, and if they'd have won through against Atletico, they could have very well gone on to win it. So you just never know. And they also beat PSV Eindhoven. They also beat Rennes. They did well in European competition.
Yeah. There's something about the Champions League that Arsenal have been knocked out and never. Yeah.
Fully deserved. Bayern Munich were the best team over 2 legs. I went to the away leg and it will stay with me forever. Even though we lost, it was just I thought to myself, I went away from that trip, Alex, and I thought to myself, if only my club could be like that. If only my club could be like that. Now, I don't mean a domestic juggernaut that wins 11 titles in a row, or 7 Champions Leagues. What I mean is that the people involved at the top end of the club, they're there for the right reasons, and they're there to ensure the health of the club and that the standards do not slip. And yes, it's impossible to win 12, 13, 14 titles in a row. They won 11 in a row, did Bayern Munich. But, when you've got Beckham, when you had Beckenbauer, when you had Uli Hoeneß, when you had Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, when you go into the museum of Bayern Munich, it really is extremely impressive. Even to the point of the meeting table where the 3 of them would sit there and discuss at length the best interests of the football club. They've won this competition 6 times with 5 different managers, 3 times in a row in the 70s, in 2001, 2013, which is the greatest European opponent I have ever seen when they beat Arsenal 3-1 at the Emirates, and also 2020 in the year of Corona. And I expect them to win a 7th title, and obviously Real Madrid with Jude Bellingham. We did a podcast once about the importance of learning a foreign language, and first and foremost, Jude Bellingham is on fantastic form. To be so mature, to be doing so well, absolutely brilliant. He's a role model for so many people. But I was a little bit disappointed, Alex, when the Spanish reporter says to him, "Do you think that you would be able to do this interview in Spanish?" And his response was, No, I'm too embarrassed. So you're not too embarrassed to go out and play in front of 80,000 people every week, but you are too embarrassed to say, for example, "Sí, hemos ganado un partido muy bien y quiero ganar la Champions con el Real Madrid."
Yeah.
And how many people would have seen that and thought, wow, a 20-year-old, an Englishman doing that? I thought it was a missed opportunity for him. There's no need for Jude to show any kind of embarrassment. You are at the biggest club in the world. Everybody is proud of you. And what you can achieve can go down in history. And that includes learning the language. Yes, he's only 20 years old, but I did think it was a missed opportunity.
James, you just kind of gave some thoughts about trying to keep the culture of a club. I mean, you told me that you asked for a program guide for the match, and you received this wonderful stuff in the post.
Yeah, but unbelievable.
Is it not very difficult to maintain that culture at a club? Because I'm looking at Liverpool, James. And I'm trying to look at and remember all the managers. That what's it called? The boot room.
The boot room.
And have they kept that culture at Liverpool? Have they?
I think it's been watered down due to the owners. They have American owners that are only interested in one thing. Yeah. There's American owners at Birmingham City who want to build a 60,000 seater stadium. Birmingham City could get relegated to the 3rd division if results don't go their way this coming Saturday. So if you are factually a 3rd division club, you ain't building a 60,000 seater stadium within the next 5 years, are you? So it's like an Americanization of English football, and they are not doing us a favour. Yeah. They are not doing us a favour. They are not. I refuse to believe that. When I got home from Munich and I saw the clippets of Stan Kroenke's in the Allianz Arena with his son Josh, did he need to be told about Bayern Munich, do you think? Was he given a guided tour of the museum? Arsenal's attitude in European competition was completely wrong from the get-go. First and foremost, we used the competition as a way of making money. Not once was there any specific ambition to win the competition as a sporting achievement. Not once. We seem to be so disingenuous to the maiden voyage that we had in this competition. It is ridiculous. The Arsenal website this year kept banging the drum, even in the 50 greatest Champions League moments, bearing in mind we've never won the thing, saying, we made our European Champions League debut at home to Lens. No, we didn't. We played Strongset in 1971 in the European Cup, which you had to win to gain entry. Yeah. We beat Strongset, we beat Grasshopper Zurich, and we lost to Ajax, who were on the way to winning their 2nd of 3 European Cups. How disingenuous do you have to be? As I've said before on a different podcast, Alex, would they have been so disrespectful and so disingenuous to that 1971-72 side if we'd have won the competition? I don't think so somehow.
Yeah. James, I'm going to pose a controversial question to you. I think we might have spoken about this in a small sense of the word. The fact that Arsenal have not had a British or English manager stroke coach for how many years? Do you think that's probably the reason why we have not won the Champions League? We've had Arsene Wenger who brought us close, but if it had been a British manager, do you think we would have won it at least once or twice? Is it down to culture or?
I think it's a great question. I don't think it's impossible to answer, of course. I'm not entirely sure, but we are an English football club. But you wouldn't know it, would you? You wouldn't know it. You know, vamos, vamos, vamos. What happens if you can't understand that? What's he saying? Like, for example, the final whistle goes yesterday. Vamos, vamos, vamos. Okay, somebody's going to ask from Plumstead or from South London or from Woolwich or from Islington, what did you just say? I don't know what he said. You know, I've been supporting the club for 35 years. I've never seen an English manager at Arsenal. Never. I know there are extenuating circumstances, but I was speaking to an Ajax friend of mine a couple of weeks ago, and I raised this very point, Alex. And his response was, for Ajax, that would be unimaginable. That's all he said. For Ajax, that would be unimaginable. And he's absolutely right. But we're in like a twilight zone now, where people are trying to forego any form of identity. They're trying to forego any form of heritage. And it's a very, very dangerous, slippery slope. It really is. Why do we have passports? Why do we have them? Why do we speak foreign languages? Why do we have borders? Why do we have these things? You know, to get people thinking about things. We are an English football club who hail originally from Woolwich in South London. That's why I have extreme difficulty in singing North London Forever, because that's factually incorrect, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
We've only been North London since 1913. We're in 2024, so it's highly likely that we're forever. But what it is Arsenal wanting to take a cheap shot at claiming that we are North London's pride and joy. Tottenham were here before we were, and if things have worked out differently, Charlton Athletic would be our rivals. But people have very, very short and, as you say, very, very selective memories.
Do you know what, James? So I'm looking at this graphic that I created here, and we have come close once to winning the Champions League, and we know what happened with that. But I'm looking at the history of Bayern Munich. They've not won it once. They've not won it twice. They've won it 6 times, James.
6 times.
6 times.
Yeah.
So that must come with an element of the right mentality,
the
right recruitment, the players going on the pitch and knowing what their job is. Not once, 6 times, James.
6 times.
Won the Champions League, and we've not won it once.
No. We try to measure ourselves. Yeah, we're up with Bayern. We are nowhere near Bayern. We can learn from Bayern. We can learn from them. As I say, I went away from that museum thinking, wow, I wish my club was like that. Wow, that's just that. It really, really, really touched me. And, I think if they win it for a 7th time, they go level with AC Milan as the team that's won it 7 times. Real Madrid have won it 14 times. And yes, you could say it's becoming very much a closed shop. But people forget as well, this tournament has only been going for 69 years. And in the 69 years, there has only been 23 winners, and we are not one of them, even though we've had extreme amounts of experience. I think we've had about 28 bites of the cherry. Well, what was the bloody point? What was the point of that? I mean, I've seen 35 European games as an Arsenal fan, 32 at Highbury, Emirates, and 1 in Eindhoven, Munich, and Amsterdam, respectively. I still cannot believe that the last time I saw my team win a European trophy was 30 years ago, and the 2 European trophies that we have won are now defunct. As I said, I'll go on record again, Alex, and say, but the next owner of Arsenal Football Club, whoever they may be, man, woman, doesn't matter. I would love that person, whoever they may be, to say, ladies and gentlemen, Arsenal Football Club have a very difficult relationship with European competition. What I would like to do during my tenure is improve our pedigree and our European standing. If I was to hear that from Arsenal's new owner, I think I would do somersaults across the front room. I think I would jump so high, I think I'll be touching the heavens. But we're not built for European football.
Yeah.
We are just not built for it. I mean, we're in next season's Champions League. I will go to home games, but I will be extremely selective. And even then, I will be focusing on the opponent, because everything I've done before, I will not be doing again. It's like going to a party, but nobody knows why you're there. Nobody knows what are you doing here. This is the red carpet. Your name's not on the list. You're not coming in. But we think we can get in because we're Arsenal. Chelsea have won it twice. So what do we? When they say champions of Europe, you'll never sing that song. What do we say? Oh yeah, we beat you 5-0. Who cares? They've won it twice, and they didn't need 28 bites of the cherry. Aston Villa could very well be in next season's Champions League, Alex. When they come out of that draw, when they're pulled out of the pot, or when they're automatically assigned because it will be machine-based, what will they say? Oh, Aston Villa, winners in 1982. So Aston Villa, before they even set foot on the pitch, they will have a leg up on Arsenal. They've won this competition. We haven't.
God, dear.
Anyway, they beat Bayern Munich in the final. Would you believe it? They beat Bayern Munich in the final. They went from the 3rd division to European champions inside a decade. It's still criminally underreported. Ron Saunders also had to sell, I think, £3 million worth of players, but he still moulded a team to become European champions. And he left because he was a man of principle. He left because he was a man of principle. And, well done to Aston Villa, I say. Well done to Villa.
James, would he have your vote as manager of the season if he were to secure Champions League and if he was to win in the Europa Conference?
I will hold fire to see if Luton. Okay. I will hold fire because if Luton Town stay up, I would give it to Rob Edwards because you had some critics who were claiming that Luton would get relegated by Christmas, which I thought was highly disrespectful. They had to make £12 million of renovations to their stadium before they could even play in the Premier League. And I think to be written off by all and sundry, I think if Luton stay up, I would give it to Rob Edwards, Sean Dyche as well, to play your football under the cloud of a points deduction for 4 months. That's not easy.
Yeah.
But if Manchester City win it and it goes to Pep Guardiola, can the PFA and the Premier League please release a statement by saying we are no longer going to vote for a manager of the year because it's become quite blindingly obvious it's got absolutely naffle to do with ability and it's whoever wins the league.
Okay. Personally, James, I would like to see a new name inscribed on the Champions League. PSG. I mean, you rightly say that Real Madrid have won it 14 times, Bayern 6 times. But I think for me, it seems like PSG might just be the newest name inscribed on the Champions League trophy. I know you think otherwise, but...
No, I understand your point. I think there'll be riots in Marseille if it happens. I think Marseille will fall them. But Luis Enrique has done an absolutely marvellous job.
Yeah.
Luis Enrique is what Arsenal fans think Mikel Arteta is. It's true, isn't it? Luis Enrique is what Arsenal fans think Mikel Arteta is. He's on for another domestic treble. People say, Paris Saint-Germain, it's easy. Not if you're from Spain, it's not. Where you've got to learn the ins and outs of a new foreign league. And Luis Enrique, if he does that treble and the first leg is already done, then it's looking extremely positive for him. He's an extremely clever man, and I think it will be a Bayern Munich Paris Saint-Germain final, and I think Bayern Munich will win. But I really hope that for all the adulation that Kylian Mbappe gets, that it's not about him in the final, and it's about Paris Saint-Germain. But if he loses, he can go and sit next to his mum, can't he?
James, let's go into the live chat, James. Good afternoon, Colin, who says, get it, Alex, a fantastic guest. Thank you ahead of time for sharing your expertise on James Rowe. Thank you for that.
Thank you very much. You're more than welcome. Lovely word. Thank you very much indeed.
Careful, Alex and James. Why? I know a guy in a group that gets a lot of flack for saying Tottenham are not the rivals I care to discuss. Did I give it away? Who thinks that? Well, I think that. I just don't see it that way because I know the history. Well, in my history of supporting Arsenal since the mid-70s, it was not Tottenham. It was Man United and Liverpool. But that's, as James said, it's personal, isn't it?
We live in a world where rivalries are being manufactured.
Yeah.
Brighton against Crystal Palace isn't a rivalry, is it? But it's become one. Isn't it?
Assembled says, good afternoon, gents and the chat room. Good afternoon to you. And what's this one? Colin, okay, the problem here is that if Arsenal lose the league by less points, it will be seen as improvement, allowing new contracts to be given and more of the same.
First is first, second is nowhere. First is first, second is nowhere. Do you remember at Sports Day where you got a "I tried hard" sticker? Do you remember? That's what Arsenal get. We tried hard. We did our best. Honestly, if we don't win it, that's the second consecutive season where we would have led from the front for a significant amount of time and not got over the line. What on God's earth makes you think that third time lucky, everything is going to be all right? Honestly, some sheep are some people. Sheep.
Yeah. Colin goes on to say that I hear that most of our fan base is in love with characters rather than major honours being won. I've said that so many times.
Yeah, no, it's a very clever point from Colin. It's a very, very clever point. But Jurgen Klopp's leaving, and I remember an ITV interview he did, and I forget the gentleman's name at ITV. I think it's Guy something, but he's really, really good. I have to check his surname. He's brilliant. He's really, really good. He said to Jurgen Klopp on the eve of the Champions League final in 2013, what characteristic does the Jurgen Klopp team need to have? And what does he reply?
What did he say?
Character.
Well.
So not a character. Oh, I love him. He's my mate. He's my original G. Yes, my man. No, the actual description of what character entails. There's a huge difference. And half of our fan base don't even know what that difference is.
The assembled goes on to say in response to Colin, the game has changed so much that participation brings enough money that actually winning the trophy is secondary.
Well, let's disband, pack up and go home then. No, honestly, let's disband, pack up and go home. Let's disband all the 47 majors honours that we've won, and let's only play for money. But bear in mind, we don't see any of that money. Doesn't come into our account, doesn't get paid into our deposit boxes. It's not our money, is it? The only tangible things that the fans feel they can have a part of what they can celebrate are trophies. So if you take them away, what's the point?
Well said, James. Do you know we've actually come to an end? It's just 2 minutes after the hour of 5 p.m. local time, and I've got to run off because I've got an appointment. James, when are you going to be back on the platform before it comes to an end?
Well, I think we have two more scheduled. I think we have looking ahead to the second leg of the semi-finals, and then we have the run up to when the finals made public what the final will be. I think my prediction tomorrow for both semi-finals, I believe it will be a 2-0 win for Bayern Munich, and I believe it will be a 1-1 draw for Borussia Dortmund, because I can't see Paris Saint-Germain winning in Germany. But when we speak next week to preview the second legs, then we'll speak about that as well. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the games tomorrow. I've been in the Allianz Arena. It's a beautiful stadium. I've also been watched Real Madrid live before. But these are two European heavyweights that have won this competition 20 times between them. So we can watch and we can learn. Real Madrid and Bayern Munich are not concerned with money, are they? Money's not the be-all and end-all, is it? No. It's, the most important thing is trophies.
Thank you, James, again. So I'm going to be back on Friday doing the Easy Talk. Yeah, nothing between now and then. I'm slowly taking my foot off the accelerator. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. James, thank you very much, James, for your knowledge again.
You're more than welcome, and auf Wiedersehen.
This has been Cannon Fodder, the channel for Arsenal fans all over this world.